Good morning, afternoon, evening. Welcome to Abroad While Black, the show that really helps you understand what to expect when you're moving abroad as a Black person in the diaspora, and also share and encourage stories of those who have done it. I'm Cordy Aziz. I'm the founder and executive director of Environment 360. I have lived in Ghana for 10 years now. And then, as always, I have my fabulous co host.
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Sean Burrowes. I'm really excited about giving you guys global perspectives from Black people from all over the world. I am the co-founder of Ingressive for Good, a company that is tasked with educating 1 million youth in technical skills development, deploying $1 million in scholarships, and connecting them to 5,000 jobs. I'm also the CEO of Burrowes Enterprises, an operations consulting firm that aims to build an economic bridge between Africa and her diaspora. I'm really excited about today. We're about to try some different things. I know you always twisting your face up, Cordy, but we're doing something different today.
Like an intro, we just got to work on it. I just need you to get down to 30 seconds. Like, I just need you to get down to 30 seconds.
I do a lot of big things, Cordy. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If Michael Jackson came in and said, I did Thriller, I did Billie Jean, I did Moonwalking, you wouldn't interrupt him. You let him go.
Michael Jackson would never do that because he's just humble like that. But yes, okay, let's get back to the show. I am also really, really excited because I think we've talked about this, how people see these YouTube videos and they feel like this is life. So I feel like there's two classifications of YouTube videos. There's either the fake, my life is extreme, beautiful, and I live in a 5-bedroom mansion, pool, and I'm paying like $5,000 a month for it, and I'm super happy with my curly haired children and mate that's half Ghanaian. And then there is I'm out here wilding. Like, I just showed up in the country, no plan, don't know how I'm gonna get citizenship, but I heard we should come, and I'm facing some things that I wasn't expecting. So for me, these are like the two classifications of the type of videos you really see on YouTube right now.
I would definitely have to agree. I think with the whole society is about getting views, sensationalism. You have to make like bold statements and different things like this. Or you have, which in some cases, which I think we're about to experience today, you have people that are totally ignorant about where they are, how the world works, and how that let's say how physics interacts with this world. And what I mean by that is saying, like, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
That's it, boo. So what Sean and I decided to do is, because there's so many YouTube videos out there, what we've decided to do is capture some of the best YouTube videos that we've run across and really talk about how you can avoid making these mistakes too, and really give you the 411 if in fact this is something that's valid, or if this might be a smoking flag that you may not want to walk into because, well, it's not going to turn out the way you think it is.
Exactly. So we're going to take a look at this video. And again, we like to say, I don't know which news channel this is. It's probably one that leans to the right, but we mean this the real way. We're fair and balanced. You can go check out some of our previous videos. We've given you some instances where things didn't quite go right. So we are one of those people. I know I am for sure one of those people who kind of dove in and wanted to experience it. I had an experienced person like Cordy who had my back. Some of you guys are depending on videos like the ones we're about to show you now.
I cannot afford to live here. I feel broke and I feel poor in Africa. I feel like I'm going to be out there selling some shit soon because this ain't making no sense to me. I pay $130 a day to drive around in a truck. I pay $100 a day to live in a 2-bedroom and there's 6 of us with no house.
Let me just say, you can't blame bad financial decisions on Africa. Should I continue?
Something else I didn't want to talk about. I have to do SUV. Is it because it's 6 of y'all? I mean, what's really happening? Who rents a car for $130 a day? I mean, who does that? Did she not do the math? 130 times 30? I mean, you can't afford to live here with that mentality.
Did she not do the math? How much does it cost to live with 6 people anywhere? Anyway, let's just let her continue.
She came over with 6 people without doing the terrain work. I mean, Don't bring your family over if you don't know what's going on. Let me repeat that. Do not bring your family over if you do not know what's going on. Africa particularly is not a place where you just show up based off these YouTube videos and things that you've read and you think it's going to work out. Somebody needs to come to the terrain and see what's happening.
Well, let me give you another insight. There is no place that you should just show up without doing your background research, understanding how the culture works there. One thing well, never mind. Let me not go into too far into this. Let me hear a few more words because, you know, it gets kind of spicy. I mean, every other syllable, I want to jump in and correct her. But she is our sister. God bless her. We love her. We support her, and whatever she wants to do. But we do have to call some things out. So let's get back in there.
Water, no stove, no refrigerator. The refrigerator broke. Then on top of that, I got lizards crawling in the bed with me. I live in America in a mansion, and we don't have to put no water on the stove. We got steady hot water, steady electricity, and the only time our electricity get cut off is when we don't pay the bill. And we got.
I saw your face change, Cordy. Should I let this go, or do you want to give her some more?
Let's give her 2 more minutes.
I don't know if I can do 2 more minutes, but let's try it. I'll fight with you. If you can do it, I can do it.
So good now we got prepaid electricity, so if we forget to pay the bill, we put the thing and they come right back on in 2 minutes. In less than 2 minutes. This shit right here, they come on for 14 hours yesterday. I can't deal. I love the people. Don't get me wrong, when I'm outside, I'm having fun. I love the people. But when I come back to reality, when you come back home, home is where the heart is, right? When you come back home, you're supposed to feel comfortable, you're supposed to be happy. I'm not happy. Every house I look for, the house is expensive as hell. Oh my God. 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, $1 million to live in a house where you look outside and all you see is turkeys and ducks and chickens and sheep and old malnourished cows. I didn't even pay that much for my house in America.
So one thing I want to talk about, you might think it's something from the video, but she talking about America. She talking about America.
America.
Certain things. One, just from the video, I look at, I mean, the AC is definitely in the back. You've got a nice ceiling fan, looks like it's been dusted. I didn't realize $100,000 could actually buy a mansion in the US. So this is news for me. So for those of you who are flexing on $100,000 mansions, please drop it for us. Second thing I think that people really have to realize is that geckos, other things are here, yes, but I mean, let's just be honest, these aren't everyday things. And considering how her hair is, I mean, girl, don't act like you used to the very best. But we're not here to make judgments. We're just here to really talk about what's really happening. So when I see this, I see several things that are problematic. One, you're probably looking in the most expensive areas to live. If you, in fact, want to live in these prime areas with these white people, for all means, get your $1 million life ready. However, if you're willing to live in a developing area, you can easily get everything together for $100,000 and probably build a 4 or 5 bedroom house. I also find it interesting how she's knocking like to see dust and chickens and stuff. Y'all, let me tell you, this is a developing country. I know you're used to coming to places where everything is cemented over and developed, and you don't even understand how acquiring land really works and other things. But here in Africa, boo, it's developing. That means that land next door to you may actually be for sale for someone to develop. And I think this is the key of actually moving here is developing. And this also comes back to why I say not every African American should really look at moving to Africa if you are not willing to actually do the change.
Well, let me drop a few things in there as well. If you want to move to Africa, or if you want to move to any country and live like you do in America, just understand that there's a lot of things that are going to be imported. When things are imported, the price is astronomically higher. So if you want to live at the American standard in another country, you have to pay at the ultra premium standard. Now, what she thought was she was going to come to Accra, which is actually one of the top 10 countries probably in the entire country, entire continent. In the entire continent. There's like Lagos, Nigeria, which is like the Manhattan. And then Accra's got to be like LA or, well, I mean, if you're,
like
there's South Africa.
This is like Beverly Hills.
Exactly. So when you're looking at it like that, and also there's just certain things that she's not understanding. So again, if you want to go to where there are no cows, there are no chickens, there are paved roads, and you got 8, 9, however many bedrooms you need for, 5 bedrooms you would need for all of your children, you can find that. There. I can actually show you an apartment, the Bellagio, in the heart of Accra. It costs you $13,000 a month, but you got it. It's there. Elevators, help, everything. It's there.
I mean,
do you have that?
And this is the thing, and I think something else that this woman probably didn't really realize before she came is that there are different options for different things. For me, this is somebody that's just not well researched. They really haven't gone through, and now like she's mad because that bitter reality is really kicking her in the face. But I mean, once again, when I look at it, and even when she talks about hot water, some things Americans, let me tell you a few things you should know right now about Americans. No developing country has installed hot water heaters. It's the same way they don't have water softeners. Most of y'all probably don't even realize you have a water softener in your house, but make sure that your water is soft. In the rest of the world, the water is hard as hell. So, but a water heater can actually be purchased for 1,000 Ghana cedis, about $200. Installation is probably another 50 bucks, if that. So technically, you can actually have all of that amenity for less than $500.
No, she can't. You know why? Because she's in an Airbnb for $130 a day. Her plan to come there and live was to go into a place that doesn't have the amenities that you want and things that you would find as comfortable. And then you move into a situation where you can't even add or get into those situations if you wanted to. So now only thing you have the ability to do is get on a YouTube video and complain.
Oh, and something else you didn't realize, boo, this was a cash society. You want to run them ACs all day, boo? Have that cash ready and that money on the meter. Me, I got 2 ACs in my house. I can tell you what, my lights ain't never been off. And also, do your homework when you go into places. Certain areas, their lights don't go off like that. Know the area that you're living in. If you're in one of these posh areas where it's expected everybody has generators because they pay the cost, guess what, boo, you need to be doing? Paying the cost. I live in an area, our lights very, very rarely go off. Nobody has a generator. Even if my lights do go off, it's 3 hours max. Sorry you didn't do your research to figure out what parts of town have good electricity.
And let me
relate to that because he's in Nigeria. So Nigeria is straight generator city.
My internet, my power goes off maybe 3-4 times a day. I moved into a place that has a generator. When my light goes off, in maybe 10 seconds, the generator kicks on. I wish they had the automatic switch. That's ultra premium level. We getting there. We moving on up. But where I am, 5-10 seconds, however it takes for the guy to go and flip the switch and turn the generator on, my lights come back on. Because what? I can't go without light. I know that, and I wouldn't put myself in that situation. But anyway, do we want to hear a little bit more from this? We 3 minutes in, and she already. How about
she skip ahead because she got a few things. You know, I done got my snacks out because she got a few things that I just feel like are they interesting. I think she got a. There we go. Now she premium. Now she premium today, y'all. She got the matching headband.
And he got the bucket hat on. He looking like LL Cool J over there. Let's go.
Basically telling them, and we keeping it raw and unfiltered.
We came to the right point.
Everybody talking about, the motherland is beautiful. It's a beautiful place, but you gotta know reality when you get here. Reality has to set in. So I'm basically telling them, look, when you come here, don't think it's gonna be a parade for you because it's not. Don't think that it's going to be snacks and it's going to be the same thing in America because it's not. That electricity that you used to being on all day, it's not going to.
Wait, Wait, snacks though. Snacks. The snacks cut her deep.
Priorities. I don't know.
I don't know the electricity.
Now.
She don't know about the American Embassy store where you can go buy all the Doritos, Snickers, Cocoa Puffs. I'm trying to
you have to be a member. Well, in Ghana, you actually have to work for them to be able to use the commissary. You can't just go in, or you need to know somebody. But this comes back to what I was saying. Do your research about the food before you go some places. And Americans love processed food. If you need 99-cent burgers, French fries, KFC, Popeyes, we do have KFC here actually. You really need to understand if you're looking for Doritos, Cheetos, and mind you, you can actually get them. They're gonna be expensive. They're gonna be like maybe 10, 15 bucks a pop, but you can definitely get them. I mean, it's up to you. But I mean, we probably need to be eating more fruits and vegetables anyways, but let's even just talk about the side thing. Who I'm really worried about in this video, I'm worried about her husband. I don't know if he's just tuned out, just like if he's just so beat down, he can't say nothing. But like, just watch his body language doing this. I don't even know what's going on with him. I'm really afraid. I think we need to reach out and do an intervention for him alone because I think he had his breaking point.
I think she embarrassed him several times. Because you guys should go and watch this whole video for yourself so you can see what I'm talking about. Because there was a different point in the video where she even touched on certain things where like she didn't want to participate with all of these networks and these diaspora groups and different stuff like that. And then fast forward, your healthy self can't get snacks because you can't get an Embassy Connect. It was quite easy to get one. But anyway, let me hit play.
Off all the time. I see the Bag family. I see our Kathy. I see all of them experiencing electrical outages. I already had set forth and looked up some places where when I get here, I can buy solar panels for my house because I knew the electricity wasn't going to be good. I already knew all this stuff. I was just telling people because it's people out there. And so you need to know. So I'm telling you, get ready. It's going to get rough. It's not easy. And yes, I am in Accra, and I knew that Accra was the most expensive place, and I knew it was the most developed as well. I wanted to be in a developed place, but at the end of the day, don't shit me. I always used to say, get me, don't shit me. Don't have me come all the way out here, and because you see I'm American, which you don't even know that I'm a Ghanaian too, but okay, I'm going to give you that I'm American because of my accent.
I'm just real quick. I just have to say this. I'm just real quick. Who took her out there? I mean, but who took her out there? She's talking about don't get me out here. I mean, who invited you?
Who sent for you? Who sent for you? Who sent you?
Okay, and let's just also, I think you paused the video at the perfect. Is this a cry for help in the husband's eyes?
Did you see him? He's just like he's like his Morse code. You got to count his blinks. He's giving you like, I do not condone this message.
I definitely feel like he is waiting for her to leave for his Ghanaian boo to come. Like he's like, I hope she go back so I can remarry.
And let me say this now. Oh my God. Let me say this now. It's like, from what I'm saying is like she mentioned, and this is why I understand where he's looking directly at the phone, expressionless with the stone on his stone faced. Because like, it seems like she mentioned all of the potential issues that she may come across. But in the previous video, you could see it was in a different setting. So obviously she posted that video and people came and fried her. They came for her life. And now her husband's over here like, oh, you about to do this again, boo? You want to get re-rotisseried out here?
Something else I also want to talk about. She brings up a good point because, you know, as we know, I'm first generation African as well. My father's from the continent. And there are different levels to first generation Africans. I always like, did your mother get with an African but they weren't married, birthed you and he came around sometimes, or were your parents married and like you actually grew up in it? Those people, even sometimes those people that grew up in it, the people that feel like they're from Ghana or from Sierra Leone or from Nigeria, these are the people that have the hardest time doing adjustment. Let me tell you what you shouldn't expect. You shouldn't expect to drop the, oh, but my daddy's Ghanaian card, or oh, my mama's Ghanaian. And people are like, oh, you're one of us. Culture is a lot more than someone's passport or where someone descended from. And I think that particularly if you are in the diaspora and you don't particularly, I think a lot of us don't speak the first language, particularly if your parents married an American, you may not speak the local language. But if you don't speak the local language, you didn't grow up eating the food, you don't understand traditions and things and how they're going. I think you really have to be really real with yourself that you just like anybody else starting from fresh.
Yeah. And I think Americans need to understand some very, very interesting things about culture. I would suggest everybody go and watch this Netflix series called The Crown. I think in watching The Crown, you'll understand. You love that show? You've seen it?
I love The Crown, boo.
What I find is that The Crown gives you a little bit, especially if you're an American, it gives you a bit more insight into like how British culture works and how class works. So in Nigeria and in Ghana, you have tribalism, right? But you also have classism. And in America, we have racism, but we don't really have classism. And we don't have classism because we
don't have access to people.
We don't have class. Americans are able to go and we say things with our chest. We value being able to be straightforward, being gung-ho, and all these other different things. The rest of the world thinks we're assholes. Let's just be real about that. We like from the rest of the world's perspective,
we really just don't have access. Like when I talk about my access to network, like I've hung out with former presidents' daughters, like seeing MPs, like when it comes to local, celebrities in Ghana, like people that do hip life, like I know some of them personally, go to their houses. Like these are things that in the US, I mean, I'm just not rolling up on T.I.'s house, like, or Al Green's space. Like, I feel like there is just a whole other level of class here that, I mean, we just aren't exposed to in the United States. Yeah. Class, I mean, mingles with class.
But it's like, exactly. And it's just like Americans in general have a chip on their shoulder because we left the UK. We left that general society. So we left to be different than this society that's really colonized the rest of the world. So when we left to be different than basically large swaths of the entire world. Now you have the Black American culture as well, which we have a chip on our shoulder within a society that has a chip on its shoulder. And we express it very, very aggressively. So I say this to say that so aggressive.
We need to learn to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm. Well, like if you understand that, like, well, let me just drop this one. So like, if we wanted to throw shade, right? Like one of the greatest instances of shade is like when Jay-Z put, I think it was Prodigy on the Summer Jam screen, showed a childhood picture of him in a tutu. And it was like, I did it to you. And basically, this is one of the biggest concerts in New York at the time and whatnot. I did this to you. I've embarrassed you in front of everybody. And British culture and society in places with class, that would have been something that is very crass, something that's very immature, something that was like something you would never, never do if you had respect for yourself. But for us, that was one of the funniest things that would ever happen. Again, we're not necessarily raised under a condition where you have class.
It's true. Even to the fact where when someone or someone falls, and our first instinct is to laugh. And like exactly. Here, like if people are like, "Oh, are you okay?" It's everything. Like it's completely different.
Exactly. So again, if in the UK version of shade is like if we really don't like you and we really wanted to show you that like you've messed up to the highest level of messing up and we're going to embarrass you, when you would walk up on a group of people, nobody would say anything to you. And everybody on the end wouldn't.
And side note, while she's talking about snacks, I'm over here thinking I should have got a second bag of these.
Everybody would know they're just destroying right now. I think it's my internet connection.
I think it is.
You're back. All right. Yeah.
It is your internet connection.
I would love.
But I was saying that, speaking of regrets, I mean, and things, I mean, I'm over here. I'm wishing I'd have got a second bag of these tortilla chips because I mean they're really good.
Man, I'm about to go get some new hot dog buns so I can grill some kielbasas today. You know, we grill sausages. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out here. Look, you looking however you want to look. I'm a grill master. So let's go. Do we want to go?
Let's go back because
It's a hot dog, but it's
because I want her to post pictures of her $100,000 mansion. This is what I'm waiting on.
That mansion is, that's what I'm going to say. Like, I don't know where you're going to, there's so many things wrong with what she said. Like, she even mentioned skinny cows. Like, to mention skinny cows in the first video, do you know that, like, those are normal cows everywhere else you go in the world? But since you've been grown next to cows and animals that have had hormones, drugs, GMOs, proteins, and all these different things pumped into them. So it's not even, it's almost a different species. Then you start understanding things.
Engineered.
He's ill-informed.
They're not even real animals.
Exactly. When you start realizing that America, USA, one of the most advanced societies in the world, a lot of the foods that we eat are banned in other countries because they know it will kill you. They know it will cause disease. They know it will give you cancer. And America's like, well, we know we make a lot of money off of this, so we don't care. We don't have class.
We don't.
Let me go back to this. I want to skip ahead, but she says so many disrespectful things, and I'm afraid I'm going to miss something that would make us all just throw our laptops at the wall.
Don't have me come all the way to Africa and
nobody asked you to. Okay, sorry.
Exactly. That's okay. Who invited you? I need that letter of invite.
You tell me I'm rich. Everybody I've ever talked to looked at me like I was dollar sign. As soon as they see me, it's money, money, money. I can tell you 15 stories right now since we've been in Africa where people try to overcharge us and overprice us, and I'm on their ass. So for the people who say, oh, she's over there getting scammed, I didn't get scammed. Now, one time I told y'all the experiences how they tried to scam me. They tried to scam me and I was in they deep in their ass. And so for the people who say, oh, Africa weak, is not for weak people. Let me tell you something. All Africans are weak. I got a fucking African father who's weak as fuck. I know all Africans are weak.
You see, you gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. She didn't have an African daddy. She had a sperm donor. She's still very bitter about this. I see that maybe coming home for her was a chance to reconnect with that abandoned father. And that too has disappointed her. This is the point where I actually felt extreme empathy for her. And this is the point where I know why her husband is over there looking scared. One of the other things I think that, like you said, people communicate extremely aggressive, but I feel like we need to do a lot of healing as Black people. And I think particularly women, when you start calling men weak and other things, like this is actually more telling about you and your mental health, and about the relationships that you've allowed to get yourself into. Because I often tell these women, because we know we got a lot of bitter Bettys out there that are always like, ain't no good man, and these men, all they want, and I hold my own, and I'm Miss Independent, and all of that is grand, and all of that is great. But in the end, that doesn't make you a man. It doesn't mean that you have the capabilities of a man. The sexes complement each other. And I think that this is something very well done in the African society. Once again, I'm highly independent. I own my own company. I make money, like everything, but there are certain things I just don't question my husband on. I mean, I get up and make his plate when he comes home in the evening. I ask him what he wants before I eat. I mean, this is just how it goes. But the fact that you instantly said that you got a weak ass daddy and then you move into weak ass Africans, like, I feel like you just wounded, sister. I'm sorry this wasn't the kumbaya moment you have been hoping for and had painted in your mind that you would be able to find some peace within yourself being half Ghanaian. But I feel actually really bad for her when I hear that.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I think I missed that the first time I watched the video because I came with guns blazing. Like, I came to fry her in her entire existence. But now that you mentioned that, she's a hurt little girl. And that is like, oh, okay, now I should hug you or
She's
something
hurt.
like that.
She's hurt. And I
Yeah.
think that something else people need to realize is that nobody's trying to scam you. In the US, you have set prices. In developing countries, everything is negotiable. So
Wait.
people
No,
will basically,
that's the essence of scamming. Yeah, everybody is trying to scam you, and like you get it twisted. Like just because you have set prices in America, they're not trying to scam you. Let me give you an example of a set price U.S. scam. I worked for the a la mode of the ghetto as far as telecom goes, Cricket, right? And when Cricket was trying to get into the creme de la creme, you know what I mean? Hoodtastic.
no
But what
credit
I
checks.
you credit. Crap, what? Anyway, but what happened was all of the top companies, so like even Sprint had moseyed they little off selves in there, but it was Sprint, AT&T, Verizon, all of them. Basically, they had said that, look, we're going to agree, but we're in this market, we're going to all charge a certain price. We don't care what cost of service costs. We're all going to charge a certain price. And it's like, basically, if we don't give you the option, you don't have any choice but to pay it. And then Cricket came in and said, hey, we're going to charge a third of that. And they was like, nah, we going to court. And we ended up winning because they started selling Cricket everywhere and whatnot. But that's how, don't get comfortable just because you see your prices and you think that because we don't have to negotiate here that everything is good. You might have lost out on the opportunity.
Like that sale, $19.99, but terms and conditions apply. And then you get there and you see you got to spend $800 to get that free $19.99 gift.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to look at it on the flip side. Maybe you got $1 million mouthpiece. Maybe you got a mouthful of poker chips. Maybe all you do is spit game. You could actually get better prices for things.
I know I'll be out here killing the game, boo. I'll be out here killing my negotiation skills top notch.
So let me say this. Before I realized that this sister really needed a hug from her daddy, and that possibly her mama was a side chick, possibly daddy was a Rolling Stone, possibly, things happened and she got left out in the cold. Possibly this is what happened. But before I realized that, I was thinking to myself that, number one, you came out aggressively. Number two, you don't understand class, you don't understand culture, you don't understand where you fit into this society at any point. And then what you said is they're weak. So when you say that everybody around you is weak, you think that somehow you must come across like you're stronger than everybody else, stronger with your reaction.
Let me say, and I say sometimes all the time, if you're a member of the diaspora and you're looking at moving to Africa, don't be one of the new colonizers. Don't be one of the new colonizers in the fact that you want to come and disgrace people and downplay their intelligence and force them to do things your way. And when they don't do it your way, they're incompetent. Don't be that person. Don't be that person.
Let me tell you what this is like, right? Because I said this before in many different ways. Accra especially is, and if you want to understand to a certain degree how the class works and how you should conduct yourself at all times in the public, imagine that you're in a Baptist church. Just pretend that everywhere you're walking, you're in the church. Because again, what she managed to do is imagine that everybody is on their church behavior to a certain degree in the streets. You always have random people who don't fit the mold, but everybody's on their church behavior. And now you walk into a certain room, a certain store, a certain situation, and you start acting like you're on the streets and start cursing people out and start threatening to slap people. You look completely and totally out of place. Even if you were going to do something like that, even if you were right, people are going to look at you like, you're right, but the way that's not how you do things here. You would take that person outside. You would take that person aside. You would definitely never use this type of language. You would never disrespect yourself in a certain way in this condition. And then you wonder why, let me drop this. And then you wonder why after you've done this everywhere you've gone, you wonder why the only people left are the ones who are trying to scam you or cheat you, because anybody else who has sense doesn't want to be around you. The only ones left for you to interact and engage with are the thieves, the liars, and the cheaters who are willing to deal with your BS just so they can get something from you. Amen.
Ooh, Rashawn, that's a word right there. That's a word. Oh, if I had the handkerchief, I'd have to just wave you off right there. That's a word.
I got the Martin Luther King fan.
That is a word. And I think that people really fail to realize that this is exactly how it works. And I think also you have to realize that particularly Black people, when we don't understand something, we have a tendency to get sort of up in angst. Two things to realize: American English is not British English. They may not fully understand everything that you said, and you may not fully understand everything they've said. It's better, particularly because the language is different and how they express thoughts may be different than how you express thoughts. Take a moment. Say, please, can you elaborate on that for me? Or please, what I'm understanding is that you're asking X, Y, and Z. Don't just move into the full, I'm not doing that, and I don't know who you think. Don't do it. Don't embarrass yourself. This is just not, this is, like Sean said, the quickest way to isolate yourself from any potential good people or good helpers that may exist. Oh, add a little.
Community living. Just keep in mind, Africans have Facebook through the Auntie system, through the everybody goes to church system. They're just
true. Let me tell you, once you piss one person off on the block, everybody know you a jerk. Everybody know you a jerk.
You're done. And again, to go back to what she said before, number one, you're not even interacting with your own people because you feel like somehow maybe you too street, you too real for everybody.
All right, but let me say this: I can't always hate. I don't really do the diaspora crowd, anyways. I have my picks and my chooses, but some of them folks is crazy.
Yeah,
but she crazy too. She crazy too. Don't think that just because we Black Americans, we all gotta hang out.
I mean, let's put it like this. Obviously, she doesn't feel like all Black Americans got to hang out. But again, she does feel like, again, she would have come across as like superior or somehow. It feels like it feels like maybe she came from, like, she got whatever she got from the mud. Like she didn't come from a great family, a great background or whatever, but she managed to find ways to do well for herself. And she feels like she kind of like smelling her own nuts. Like she's feeling herself. And again, I'm all for confidence and arrogance, but if you communicate these things in the wrong way at the wrong place at the wrong time, it doesn't go well. It's like Icarus.
Right.
You fly
let's
too
push
close.
your ego, and let's push your ego to the side and start the video again. Go ahead and skip through.
I just wanted to make sure I got that part. That was the part I had to catch. When she said Africans are weak, I was like, you don't even understand how strong it is to not cuss people out. you haven't matured yet where you hold those words
That's
back.
For real.
I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you get through. I'm gonna talk for me. The only thing that I would,
people are trying to help her, and she's saying, no, don't help me. Not quietly understanding the situation on your own. Just no, don't. I gotta go back a few seconds. Sorry.
treat these young girls. I'm gonna get their tampons, items and wipes, and I'm gonna do a nonprofit program.
Okay, this sounds
okay. I'm gonna go to Africa and be fucked up and be guttered too. I ain't asked nobody for nothing. I ain't asked for no handouts. I didn't ask for no parades. I was just sharing my experience. My experience is that Africa needs help. It needs work. We came out here to build Africa. I closed all my businesses down. And of course, I could have stayed in that colonized as United Snakes of America and dealt with their bullshit and kept getting my money. I could have did that. I do taxes. I don't pay taxes. I do them. Okay, so I could have stepped in. I could have dealt with that. But no, I decided, no, I'm going to close all shop. I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna get me a bus, and I'm gonna do free teeth cleaning and spas for the people in the village. Then I'm gonna treat these young girls. I'm gonna get their tampons, their baby items and wipes, and I'm gonna do a nonprofit program. Business is my forte. That's what I do. So I didn't come out here for a job. I didn't come out here to rent. I didn't come out here to live on nobody's couch. I didn't come out here to live with no diasporas or none of that bullshit. If you want to help me, but I'm not asking you to. I'm not begging. And then with the people who did offer to help us, we do know a lot of people in Ghana. I've been knowing people in Ghana. All my life, I knew people here. I've been knew people, Ghana, Nigeria, all over. Gambia, Tanzania, I know people all over. But at the same time, I'm independent. That's how I've always been. I've always held my own. God blesses the child that holds his own. I've always held my own. So I'm not going to get out here and change now. So for the people who did come and say, hey, I'm going to help you, I'm going to find that
I'm not going to change now. Okay.
Okay, but my thing is, number one mistake, y'all don't come out to Africa with no NGO dreams. You see another mistake she made. Do not, if you have a business, something where you can run taxes, online commerce, something that you can do remotely, there's no reason to close your business. There's no reason to close your business. This is a country where you need this is a continent where you need multiple streams of income. If you think you're going to work one job and make moves, you're wrong, because why? We don't live on credit. That means everything you get, you pay cash for. You need multiple streams of income. Even now, I've actually diversified. I'm moving into waste management consultant. My husband and I are about to open up some ventures. Why? Because my baby got to go to school, and it's probably going to cost me $5,000 a semester. Check it, $5,000 a semester, $15,000 a year, up for the next 18 years. I need another stream of income. E360 is cool and all, but I need another stream of income. You need to know there was no reason for her to stop doing taxes. If she was still doing them taxes, she would have been on her A game right now. There is no need to feel like you coming out here to do NGO work. NGOs, boo, that model is dead anyways. People are all into social enterprises right now. Ain't no funding for no NGOs. What are you thinking? That ship has sailed. So please don't come out here with no NGO mentality. You're going to get a bus and help the kids with tampons and baby wipes and mother back. This is not the environment. This should not be your focus.
Let me say this. After like maybe 3 decades of funding or looking at people who have done these things, there are large organizations that have basically jumped in and filled that role. And if you want to work for those organizations, when you're talking about basic level NGO activities, you can work for them. You can work for the World Health Organization if you want to give out tampons and different things to little girls. You can work for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation if you want to be accused of sneaky, underhanded things that nobody knows about under the auspices of helping the continent. You can do these things.
There's something for everybody.
But typically NGOs now, especially that have any type of sustainability, maybe this is something we should both talk about because I think we're both very active in this place. But there needs to be some type of commercial value that you're agreeing that I can make money here and not have to focus on profit.
Once again, even if you have an NGO, you need a commercial entity attached. Simple. If you think you're going to just have an NGO, you would be a fool. You would be a fool. So people don't even want to cover administrative costs for NGOs. So meaning they'll cover all the work. But when it comes to salaries, that's often not an acceptable expense. So you need to figure out how you're going to pull in that money to pay salaries.
And it's like some of these things were like, if you couldn't do this in the US, I wouldn't say that you should come to Africa and try to do it. Like if you were
this is my clap right now. This is my little clap.
This is that superiority complex thing where like if you feel like Africa doesn't have anything, and she said she moved to Africa, she lives in Africa. Just keep in mind, Africa is what we use to give somebody, Americans and typically foreigners use it to describe or give you a direction of what they are talking about. You can't necessarily live in Africa because these are all different countries. So if you're walking around in Ghana talking about Africa in some weird way where you're living there, you're participating in something there, then you automatically sound like you're a little bit off. And it's just like, you just really have to understand again, just how things work there. She made some mistakes. And again, maybe her heart was in the right place, but it just execution-wise, she didn't understand what she was doing.
And this is it. I feel like her heart's in the right place. Execution-wise, it just wasn't smart. And I definitely saw the husband's desperate plea for help. If you know how to find him, please reach out to me so I can do an intervention here on ground.
We need to email him a hug or something. Do we want to go back in there? Because he closes the video, and it's kind of like at the end of the video, he basically goes and undoes everything that she says.
I mean, I definitely got to hear the husband's perspective. I feel like he's been quiet, making the eyes.
He's been trying to be stone-faced. Wait. Are you saying we should skip straight to the husband's part?
I mean, let's do a few more minutes and then let's hit it.
All right.
Keeping the crowd you bring, because you got to look at people for what they are. You can have people come out here that lives out here and be like, okay, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you get through. I'm gonna talk for you. I don't need you to talk for me. The only thing that I would need you for is if somebody's trying to take advantage of me, and you could talk to them and say, no, you're not about to take advantage of these people. But other than that, I speak the language. I can talk to them myself. That don't mean they ain't gonna get over on me. They might even use you to get over on me. So that's what another thing y'all have to be very careful of. It's people out here that don't have your best interest at heart. They will sit here and they will act like they friends with you, they fuck with you, everything good. Let me help you. I'm gonna help you pave the way. You will get you a house and get there. They setting up a house for themselves the whole time. I'm gonna help you get a car. They making sure they got transportation the whole time. And I need you to invest in me too, making sure they got shit the whole time. And then you'll have, let me introduce you to my friend that works at the DMV that's gonna hook you up with a driver's license, and they trying to take money off the top. And they letting their DMV friends fuck you. I got stories for days. Then you got people that say, I'm gonna help you get a house, and they have their friend who introduced you to them, they get money off the top. Everybody's getting money off the top of you. Remember that, everybody. So you can't trust nobody. I don't care where they from, Tom, Dick, or Harry. Don't trust them. Nobody in Ghana. And it's like I have to tell people all day, every day.
Is she talking about consulting fees?
I don't know what she's talking about.
Because for me, if I hook you up with somebody that's going to do something large for you, by all means, that person is definitely going to get some money off of doing that service. That's called a consultant fee. And maybe if we're really good friends, they might give me a referral fee for actually referring you. Like, I'm just curious if this is the scam that she's talking about, which once again is very formalized in the US. Real estate agents get commission when they rent out, well, maybe not rent, but definitely when they sell places. Here it's based on the UK system. So I know they definitely, at least in the UK, when real estate agents rent as well, they also get money. So, but when I look at what you thinking is scam, is this just really business that maybe it just doesn't have a name for it, or you feel like it's unexpected fees?
I really think that she doesn't understand how things work. Now, again, she's not wrong that everybody she comes across is trying to get something from you. But just keep in mind, like, the same thought that like somebody is trying to add something on top. If America was to give you something else and teach you about value added services and different things like that, where the whole American economy is based upon them going and getting raw materials from these third world countries and basically adding a lot of value and different things on top. Now that you're facing it at that ground level, it just seems like you kind of don't understand how these things work. Again, you also need to realize as well, you're operating in a place that does not have a social safety net. There is no welfare. There is no anything like that. So that puts you in a situation where it's not like, I hope I earn, I hope I get a job, I hope I get money to feed my family. It's you have to get a job. You have to earn. And
something else I want to address. And let me tell you, I remember when I came years ago, my first stop was working for a very prominent not working for, but trying to do partnerships, link up with this very prominent African-American woman here in Ghana. And I remember she sat me down, because you look and everything's set up so nice and you feel like, yeah, this is definitely like the plug. This is the way in. And I remember she had to talk with me that, like, people come over and then they instantly feel like she's supposed to give them something, but they don't know how hard she had to work. And then I was like, well, that really doesn't make sense. Fast forward 10 years later, I feel the same way she does. And this is why I will not hire African Americans. It's very interesting that they don't know the struggle that you put in to have to get a vehicle, to make sure that you always have a car. They don't know the struggle that you put in to live in that nice house or to do those things. And it's like, you show up, you see me with these things, and then you think I'm just supposed to give you the olive branch and let you live the same life that I live, or naturally include you. And that's just not how it works. We all have a different journey on this thing. And I can give you guidance, I can give you direction, but you can't come and just eat off of me because I'm eating.
This this is real, and this is also the expectation they would have anywhere else in the world. Like if you were in America and you go and you see like if you go and let's say you're from Mississippi and you go to Chicago and you go to somebody like, hey, you from Mississippi too. We have a connection. Yo, can I stay at your house? Can you actually give me a little bit of money, hook me up with your contacts and put me into business so I can make money here and live and have a foundation for myself? Could you do that for me, please? And they would look at you like you're ridiculous. Like people are willing to help you, but there's context. You have to understand like what you're actually asking for. And now because you've romanticized the African continent, you think that everybody else has glitter in their eyes. Nah, like the glitter has passed. We actually out here working and hustling now. And no, I can't just give you every single thing because again, there's no safety net. If I miscalculate or something goes off, I lose it all. So I have to be on top of everything at all times. Now you're dealing with people like that and you're out here, you still got the glitter in your eyes and you still aggressive and you don't know how to do business.
I'm trying to speak for you because I realize you don't know how to speak to people.
And you're gonna mess everything up.
Get in there. This is it. I'm trying to make sure you get in there with the least amount of money to hit your objective. I'm trying to set you up for a place where even if you can't afford to buy the car up front, maybe they'll take different monthly payments over a period of time. Like this is why I'm trying to speak for you and help you out. And also, I would like to say that if you speak the local language, chances of you really getting scammed are like zero or you not understanding. If you're this fluent in the local language, I would really just suggest that you take your time and have conversations with people and really understand what's happening. Because I feel like, once again, if you understand the local language, this is naturally a thing, and chances of you being hustled literally goes all the way down, unless you personally just make a bad decision.
You're right. You're not wrong. But what I would say is that you still have to understand how the local economy works. The best way to understand how the local economy works is to go to the market. If you're in Accra, go to what is Mala? What is it? Makola. And then look at some of the things they are selling there. Then go to ShopRite and see see the prices that they're selling some of these similar things at. And you kind of see like the markup and different things of how things can go from one spot to another and what the expectation is for what you're supposed to pay in certain conditions. You can go and buy things from the market, and a lot of times people will send people to the market to buy things, but they send their house help. They send the whatever the case may be, because there's a certain context for being able to trudge through this market. Even if you want to pay those market prices, you'll realize what you have to do. You have to negotiate with every single person for every single thing that you get. The streets aren't that wide. There may be muddy. It may be dirty. You may have like 50 people where you're squeezing in here. You have to carry things on top of your head where you'll be like, you know what? I'd rather just go to ShopRite. So now when you're dealing with this guy and you're trying to have somebody that's speaking on your behalf, if you don't understand the local economy and how things work, you're going to get scammed anywhere. You have to understand these things.
And why does the people act like scams don't happen in the US? Y'all participating in that Sister Santa thing right now, getting 25 women to send y'all gifts. I mean, when I look at all the scams that like y'all are participating in, like your life is a scam. Free financial training, sign up with me today. Want to make money from home, working part-time, $2,000 to $3,000 per month? How many of y'all
have you or anybody you love had the certain conditions and died in the last 6 months? You may be eligible for money. Like,
y'all been scamming.
Have you ever participated in Amway or Quickstar or all these network marketing things? Not to say that they are scams. But if you do,
have you ever worked a commission-only job selling credit cards, scamming?
You tell whatever, exactly. So it's one of those things where if you understand the economy and how it works, you can use all of these situations to legally make yourself a lot of money. But if you don't, you set yourself up to legally be a fool and a sucker and get and they're gonna chop your money. They're gonna bust your head, and that's gonna happen everywhere. I think again, that's what I want to put out there. I'm not saying what she's saying in these videos is a lie or that she's mistaken, but why it's happening to her is very important. Why
this is for me, this is just a cultural misunderstanding. Like she just doesn't get it.
She just does not understand why she keeps finding herself in these situations time over time. And I'm telling you now, I know for a fact, just her aggressive stance and her ability to say that everybody around her is weak because she has somehow tested her strength, which is not typically what people do. People test your civility. People test your ability to hold your temper. People test your ability to be able to use your words and use situations to make them look and sound silly by the local expectations. Oh, you were supposed to do this. Oh, you have your, there's just ways they insult you that are different than America. In America, we are looking for ways to have an excuse to beat your ass, just being real. And that's not how anybody else works. Like, it's not acceptable for a lot of other places to physically put their hands on you. And like, in no circumstance, no matter what they've done to you,
no circumstance.
Put your hands on them, you have lost. That's how most of
the chest bump.
That's, you see the bluffing. Even that, you messed up. You lost. Like, look, he has no culture. He has no class. Anyway. We can keep doing this. I don't even know how long we've been recording at this point. But I do want to go back and touch on, we can go to this husband and come back. But we got to hear a little bit about what
I need to hear from the husband. I need to hear.
His husband may have missed his calling.
So that's he moved to the front of the chair. He been sitting there staring blankly, blinking fast.
Look, he already grabbed the back of his head like, Jesus, how do I get it? You know, we trying to still do business out here, baby. I don't really understand. Look at her. We missed a lot now. I ain't gonna lie, we missed a lot. She said some more in You see,
y'all have to watch on your own. We only here for the highlights.
Don't worry. In the video, we'll put those things in. Has he started yet?
But I've seen a lot of people on her page.
That's exactly what I was doing. Now you got the torch.
He looking at you, right?
All right, so
after all that ignorance, you just gonna throw me the mic. He's like, hey, you done? You really done?
It's a couple of topics I want to. First off, she said nobody fucking complaining. And even if we was complaining, that's our freedom of speech. We do what the fuck we want to do. If you don't like what we gotta say, then keep scrolling. I've seen a lot of people on old girl page. I'm not even gonna put her name out there because, like I said, that's female business. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But I've seen a lot of people on her page talking about something. Oh yeah, I had to click off and this, that, and the third. All right, well, click off and go live your life. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how many people, and it's crazy how many black people, all you fake ass wannabe hotep folk ass dashiki wearing motherfuckers coming on the page and saying, don't say nothing bad about Africa, don't say nothing bad about the motherland, or don't say nothing about that. That's like me going to Chicago and fucking dismissing all the niggas that's getting shot and saying, oh yeah, these little young niggas around here.
Once again, we don't condone use of the N-word, and that shows me everything I need to see. Hey, Ronke, we saw you looking good, girl.
I told her to come on in here. This guy is trying to denigrate the beautiful African continent. And I'm saying that not just because everything is great in Africa, but like you just kind of see there's a level of aggression that's different. And again, there's nothing that compares to what happens in Chicago. Like, I don't really know of anywhere. There's like Compton, Chicago, but I really don't know of too many places.
I just want to know why she's also very aggressive. Sean's all in love, y'all. So in love are we together. Anyways.
You got a whole marriage. Why are you saying it like it's a bad thing? You ain't a pimp no more, Cordy. You then ain't no return of the Mac Daddy. It's over, Cordy. Love is okay. That's one thing I learned about Africa as well. They love their women. They're okay saying they love their women. And I'm okay too.
My boo love me. He do. He's dope. Anyways, he's aggressive too, though. He starts off aggressive. Let's see if he pulls it in. I mean, she definitely having the satisfied look like, yeah, my man here for me. So, I mean, let's definitely pull it off and see what happens.
I feel like he did that for her. I feel like he started off to make her feel like, all right, baby, I'm triple OG now. So now let me actually talk sense. Maybe not.
People ain't nothing wrong with that. That's cool. They doing what they supposed to do. They doing what they know how to do. No, that shit is unacceptable. That's what the fuck it is. And as long as you keep thinking that it is acceptable, or you keep ignoring the fact of the matter that it's happening, then it's gonna continue to happen. And that's why black people ain't getting nowhere now. Because y'all niggas so fucking soft that y'all don't want to be able to tell y'all own people, man, y'all niggas fucking up. Y'all gotta step y'all game up. That's the problem. So y'all motherfuckers walking around here with the goddamn with the shit on y'all head and the fucking dashiki African red robe talking about something. Man, y'all keep talking bad about Africa and all that other shit. But ain't nobody saying nothing bad about Africa. We telling you what we see. We telling you what we are in Accra, Ghana. We are telling you what we have experienced in the first week that we have been here. First of all, I've been in the military. I've been overseas numerous times. I've been to Afghanistan. I've been to Iraq. I've been to Somalia. I've been to Lithuania. I've been to Dubai. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to a whole bunch of foreign lands. I've been to a lot of third world countries when I was in the military. The thing is, even when you're in the military and you have everything at your disposal.
Were any of those ones he mentioned even third world countries? Is just everywhere that's not America, third world countries?
Lithuania, maybe. But what's interesting is that the military experience is not really an experience, considering they keep you on a hub. I mean, but that's just my experience. When people tell me they've traveled abroad, they've traveled the world with the military and they know how it is, I always just have to get quiet because I can't disrespect your world experience. But I do understand that your experience as military personnel is very different than civilian life.
Okay, my whole entire family is military on both.
So
my mother and father met in the Navy. I never joined the military because I knew better, and I say what I need to say. If you walking everywhere with a gun or representing the biggest guns in the entire world, and you're saying that I've traveled here, and compare that to a completely different context. He's talking about going into the Middle East. I guarantee you, when he was walking around in the Middle East, if he was not with his battalion, with his group, with his squad, with their weapons hot, he was not out there acting like he was crazy.
He was out there living in that tent, eating that packaged food.
Because when you want to talk about culture, if you want to talk about a culture where you know before you get in there that you better have your stuff together, don't go around in Saudi Arabia playing with nobody or nothing.
Don't do it.
Nah, they still well, anyway. Again, the context of just okay, let's make it a teaching moment. So the contexts are different.
Forgive. I'm sorry. The baby needs to get up.
So while she's being an amazing mother, I'll say like the contexts are completely different. Again, when you're walking around and moving with a military outfit, even the things you're allowed to do, the places they take you, again, even just the amount of people that you're with single mind, with a single training, with a single goal, all of these different things that are taking place. Again, it's a completely different context. The Middle East, in which most of the places he mentioned were in the Middle East or they were in Europe. Now, she mentioned Lithuania. Lithuania is not necessarily a dump. It may be like more rural or not necessarily Germany or UK or something like that, but it's a country. It's a full-fledged country. So like you're mentioning things that are completely different than the African context, and even comparing us to those different countries, again, you won't really understand what you're going to see when you come within the African continent. Each country is different. The things that you actually think, the things that we've been raised to think, what you have to shift is understand that what you thought was civility, what you thought was success, what you thought was infrastructure is completely different in this place. And you're not in the place to say whether it's right or wrong. It's just for you to decide, do you want to participate in it or not? That's it. Because everybody else for hundreds, even if you look at the Yoruba cultures, the tree, I can't say tree, but the Akan cultures going back hundreds of thousands of years, there are reasons why they do certain things. There are reasons why things are in place. A reflection of their culture. It's a reflection of their experiences. Another key thing to understand now, it's a reflection of the fact that they live in a community. So when you're living in a community, it's important that everybody understands how to treat each other because you're living in closer proximity. There's a different expectation where other people on the outside are able to look inside and give you advice, give you suggestions, or even scold you if you're stepping out of the expectation. Now, when you're coming in from the American context where everything's meant for you to be an individual, if somebody, especially from a Black American perspective, if somebody is coming trying to tell you something, then they're disrespecting you. And the only way to get your respect back is through violence or making them feel smaller. You're not going to fit in most places in the world.
Personal attacks, I'm telling you. Personal attacks. Learn behavior. Learn behavior.
Awesome. So I'm gonna hit play one more time. Let's see. There's only 2 minutes left, but let's see if he has any. He has sense going towards the end, or maybe I'm just exaggerating.
Let's see if we can hold for the whole 2 minutes 21.
Okay, we want to just go through the 20 seconds. Okay, 2:20.
Go out here, it's going to be a culture shock. I don't give a fuck what you think that you're ready for. I don't care how you say that you're prepared, that you're willing to deal with anything. You may be willing to do with everything, but at the same time, you still have to have time to adapt to what's going on. That's just human nature. You can't just jump in a cold ass water and don't feel nothing. You're going to have to jump in that cold ass water, get that chill off, and then you'll get used to the water. That's how it works. So when we come here and we telling you the experiences that we're seeing because we're just starting off, and we get all this bash from these fake ass woke people because they don't want to hear nothing bad about Africa. Y'all some bullshit. And half of y'all motherfuckers ain't never even left y'all city. Half of y'all sitting around here in the inner city where motherfuckers getting shot and stabbed every day, walking around acting like ain't nothing happening, but want to tell somebody not to talk bad about the country that you ain't never even visited. Go get your right and then come out here and then put your shit on YouTube. A lot of y'all motherfuckers coming out here or not even out here by yourself because y'all ain't even invested enough money out here. Something like that. We've been saving up money and we've been planning on this for years now. We've been doing research and everything. We got 4 kids with us and 2 adults. None of this shit is cheap. None of this shit is cheap. So everybody want to sit right here from the comfortability of the American home talking about something. Don't be talking bad about Africa and you can't even afford to fucking leave your goddamn state.
Woo!
Get the fuck off our YouTube page. That's what y'all need to do.
I mean, that's facts.
Because we over here, we doing what we got to do. We invested our money.
I don't know about invested money. I think spending and investing, are 2 different things, but he seems like he's dedicated. That's one thing I can say to him is that he seems like he's dedicated. He knows these are just temporal things. He probably, once again, I'm just going to take it from the fact that they're aggressive people, that they haven't really adjusted to the fact that they can drop off some of this, shake it off now since they're here in Ghana. They don't have to be this aggressive, this hardcore. You don't have to cuss every other word. I mean, these things just aren't really necessary and they don't really push your point. But hopefully by the time he hops out that water and he's gotten used to it, I'd like to see them one year do a video and just see how their demeanor has changed.
They ain't gonna make it. They're gonna run him out there. They're gonna run him out of a crowd with civil disobedience.
I need to figure out where they're hanging out so I can bump into them. Then we can go live.
They're not hanging out with nobody. They're not hanging out.
We need them on a broad while black.
Let's look at it.
We need them on a broad while black.
We can bring them on a broad while black, but you know it's gonna be contentious, and you know they're gonna bring us back to where we came from. You know that, right? Because I'm gonna have to be taking a plane to Accra because he's gonna be like, I'll slap you, and I'll be like, hey, look, bro. I'm gonna show you what all that military is worth here. Nothing.
We're not saying that that's the whole Accra. We're not saying that's the whole Ghana. We're not saying that's the whole Africa. And that that's everybody. We are telling you the experiences that we saw. Just the other day, I went into the store to go get a plug, and I put this in one of my videos. I read the plug because I'm always reading everything because I know the mentality of people. It's not Ghana, it's not Accra, it's not Africa, it's people in general. Anytime that anybody can get an advantage over you, especially when it comes to money, they're going to attempt to do it. So I know that. So don't for any think that I'm saying, oh, it's specifically Ghanaians or people that are in Accra. No, it's people in general. This is how it works. That's how the world works. It's a dog-eat-dog world out here. The world is beautiful. It's the people that's in it that's fucking it up.
Oof.
He waited to the last 25 seconds to say something that hit. Whereas like he that last 5 seconds, he undid most of the stuff his wife was saying before that.
I agree. He did. I feel like once again, they just like you said, he's going through a culture shock right now. I mean, they need a hug. And this is what we tell people on Abroad While Black. Undoubtedly, you're going to have this. How you respond to it and how you get through it is everything. So whether you decide to, okay, I'm going to sit back quietly and watch and learn, or I'm going to go in guns blazing and show people that I'm not going to do things that way. I mean, that's up to you. But hopefully you choose the former and not the latter, because the latter, I feel like it's, like you said, it's going to isolate you.
And let me drop this in here too. So for everybody who comes from more aggressive backgrounds, y'all know what I mean when I say more aggressive backgrounds. For y'all that come straight from the hood or straight from the country, because I even say sometimes the ghetto and the country are the same, almost the same mentality, just a different accent.
It's true.
But when you're coming out of these places, there's something you really need to understand. Is just that you have to like really just kind of step back and fit in a certain way. I kind of lost my train of thought. I was going somewhere with that. But again, that's what I was about to say. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What you have to realize that when you come from these more aggressive backgrounds, when somebody crosses you or disrespects you, which it will happen no matter where you go, everybody always wants to be better than the person around them. But when it happens with Black Americans, we typically resort to our physical dominance to show how powerful we are. Typically, everywhere else you go, they actually typically use like the different things to describe or to show you what power is. So if you're in a crowd, no, they may not show you, like if you have a disagreement, you may yell at somebody, curse them out, and like jump at them and they flinch and walk away. And you think you've won that disagreement. You think you punked them, or you showed them who had power in that situation. But you don't understand that they will go and make sure that they call their cousin, they call their friend, they call anybody that has anything to do with the way you make money, the way you go out and have fun, the way you go out and basically equalize and de-stress yourself. Any of those different things are fair game for them to try to find some strategic way to take you down and show you that they truly have the power. You could beat them or whatever physically, and they will still try to find a way to ruin your life. Because again, that is the true exhibition.
Petty on fleek.
Mm-hmm.
Petty on fleek, petty on fleek, petty on fleek. So, I mean, this is definitely just an interesting, like I said, I just would love to see them a year from now. Hopefully they do make it in Ghana. A few things though, I hope that you've learned from watching this Abroad While Black. I think he said it best at the end, culture shock is inevitable. 2, don't come with a mentality that everybody is trying to scam you when you don't really understand what exactly is happening. 3, be prepared. Don't come out and start living some extravagant lifestyle that you know you can't maintain past a certain period of time, and you utilizing and using up the funds that you need for your long-term investment. It doesn't make sense. 4, if you have kids, don't just cold turkey bring everybody out all at once. Somebody needs to come do an exploratory trip. Somebody needs to find housing. Somebody needs to do these basic things. Once again, schooling, particularly, so if the school, something else to realize. Here in Ghana, most of the schools are not based on the American school system. If you have children that have been raised in the American school system and now you want to relocate to Ghana, this means that technically they probably need to go to an American or an international school. Tuition ain't cheap. So you think you mad right now about this Airbnb and this SUV, wait till you see them tuition fees, boom. Wait till you, and then that's when you, for 4 kids, it ain't easy.
Let me say this as well. Let me say this. You thought you planned, but I guess, I don't know if they said they were going to get a house built, whatever the case may be. But if you look at how long it takes to build a house, and you look at how much you're paying every day for Airbnb, technically, if you understand that typically when you buy a house, you pay for a year in advance, and you had that money, basically you would have come and rented, found the place that you wanted and rented it for the year. and been
That
able to
comes to not
negotiate.
going, knowing the terrain. Somebody should have came out and did all these things and secured it before they moved, right?
Came and identified a vehicle and bought the vehicle that could have toted you guys
To
around.
be honest, real talk, you should have shipped the vehicle. You should have actually gone to the auction, bought one of these wrecked cars or cars for a little bit of no money and shipped it. I mean, real talk, be prepared. So for me, these are things that can all be avoided, and you can avoid this whole culture shock, this whole feeling of being over aggressively scammed, being a know-it-all. Just overcome all of that and just be open to the fact that maybe you don't know the best way to do everything. Maybe you do need somebody to support and help you. Maybe you're not as strong as you thought you were. I mean, and it's cool. It's cool. Like Sean said, ain't nothing wrong with love, ain't nothing wrong with help. Just be cool. Just soften yourself. But when I look at this, I would say that her experience, though, I have to validate her experience. What she is feeling and what she's going through now, I think a lot of African Americans probably wanted to make this same video, but because they had given up too much, they were ashamed to do it. I think that this is a very valid experience for a lot of African Americans when they move to Ghana. They're bitter, they're upset, things don't work out the way they thought they were. They don't have the support that they thought they were gonna support. They don't like members of the diaspora community. All of these things are absolutely going to happen. But you can avoid it when you really plan well and when you really know what to expect. So yes, so I think this could potentially be some of you if you decide to move abroad and you don't plan well.
You don't do your research. Man, I think we can keep going forever and forever with that one, because there were a lot of different things. But I think, again, one of the major things is just understanding the context of where these frustrations are coming from. It's one thing to be treated that way that she's talking about. But again, once you understand why some of these things are happening, it will give you a different perspective that will make, you're still going to take your blows, but it may soften them. So I think we're about to go. I look forward to talking next time about Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson. They are fighting today. Oh my God. Oh, I think we may have to do something.
I think Mike Tyson gonna pulverize him.
I think that they've set it up for Mike Tyson to kill Roy Jones. But Roy Jones is one of the most talented. I mean, I don't know. I can't even.
Mike has done prison time. You can't never, ever. Mike is hardcore.
Roy Jones was boxing pit kicking. Like don't. Roy Jones is more skilled than Mike Tyson. Not by much, because Mike Tyson was also, he doesn't get credit for his skill. He's more skilled than Mike Tyson. But
he gonna murder.
Mike Tyson just needs to hit you.
Murder. Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You want to make a friendly bet? You want to make a friendly bet? 1,000 naira, which is what, about 50 cents?
I'll bet you 50 cents. I don't like to approximate about, because that's about how much I have and which one is gonna go which way. I bet 50 cents. I bet you. Let's put it like this. I bet you $100 on Roy Jones. How about that?
How about you bet me a plane ticket to Nigeria? Aye!
It's about $100. Okay,
it's actually 400 round trip. 400.
I could have got you one way. I'll buy you one way. I'll bet you one way. You find your own way home. You're not gonna conveniently get back to the comfort of your house after taking my money. I'll do you a one-way ticket. I bet on Roy Jones the long way. What's up?
I'm gonna take it. We're gonna validate it. I'm gonna take it.
If you lose,
we're gonna validate it. And then I'm gonna come over and get my one-way ticket to Nigeria.
I'm just saying, you got your one-way ticket. If I win, then what happens?
I mean,
I won't be hearing nothing like I gotta buy bacon.
You get a one-way ticket to Ghana.
I won't hear nothing.
I mean, you get a one-way ticket to Ghana. No problem. I can do a one-way ticket to Ghana. High five. High five the screen.
All right, cool. Bet. Y'all heard it here. We can't lie. We bet here. Y'all let us know when you see this. Who did you think was gonna win? Roy Jones versus Mike Tyson? Because I ain't gonna lie, Roy Jones, that man did the chicken. He did the.
And when I get to Nigeria, I'll let y'all know.
She thought she was gonna have somewhere to stay. I lose this bet. She gonna come here homeless. I'm just joking.
You see, one
Oh,
thing
when
in that
is-
validation woman experience, don't trust people that say they're gonna help you.
Never trust this. Never trust
Never.
it. All right. So let's close this down. We appreciate everybody. Please go back and take a look at some of our previous episodes. Look us up on Facebook, on Instagram, Abroad While Black. Like, follow, schedule hosting parties with your friends and family so we can all get along. And please drop these comments and give us some feedback so we know some different perspectives, some different places that you guys want to hear from. If you hear any spicy videos where somebody's talking out the side of their neck or saying something that you may not know is true, whether it be within the African continent or somebody else, we'll find somebody to give us some more insight. We're interested. I think we found a new vibe.
Well,
Courtney.
I
What
don't
do you
need
think?
nobody. I'm an expert. I got 10 years in this thing. I'm an expert.
I'm a cry expert. What if they talk about Tanzania? I've been to Mushi.
I'm an expert.
Okay, look, don't worry, y'all. Cordy will give you her expertise, and I will also find local expertise to give us some feedback. I think that's important. I learned the hard way. Legos ain't like a cry. I came into
going
Legos.
to definitely shorten his introduction next week, so it's 30 seconds, and he doesn't tell you. Sound like he's pitching for his life.
I thought I was going to add some more on there. I've done some other things. I've started some things now. You
Let's
understand what I'm saying?
let's just leave it where it is. Don't give the people too much. I'm Cordy
Listen.
Aziz, co-host of Abroad While Black, and Sean Burrowes, kick it over.
I am also the co-host of Abroad While Black. I lived in Accra for 3 years. I've been in Lagos for 3 years, and I look forward to giving you all more stories. Look forward to next week. We're actually bringing on Davisha, so you'll get to hear stories about Davisha. Cordy, where's Davisha from one more time before we go?
Davisha actually, I think is based in ATL currently, but is into DC, runs campaigns. She actually just helped get the first congressman from DC, African descent, African, to be elected. So she should be really interesting. Moving to Ghana, actually hosting the first hemp fair. For those of you who don't realize, hemp was legalized in Ghana last year, not for smoking, but for industrialization purposes. So she's leading a hemp fair here to talk about how to leverage for industrialization purposes. So she should be super interesting if you're interested in politics, if you're interested in hemp, if you're interested in how she's moving abroad with kids. I mean, she got a plan. She coming here in January, wrapping things up, and I think the kids come shortly thereafter. So I'm sure she probably won't have a lot of these bitter experiences that we just watched. And hopefully you'll be subscribing, watching, and following Abroad While Black so you too can avoid some of this craziness. So peace, love, and hair grease. See you the next time around.